In this video I'm going to show you how to add the player leaping back when he receives damage, as if he'd kind of stepped on a spike and then sort of jumped backwards out of the way. It's useful so your player doesn't keep kind of re-triggering the same damage actor each time. Also, it's a good way sort of indicating a bit of a sort of feedback to the players that something's happened and they've sort of leapt back out of the way. So we've already built our damage here, and we had this sequence. If you remember when we were constructing this in the previous clip, there was this pin 0 on the sequence which we'd left blank. So we'll use this to get our player to jump out of the way. Now, one way of doing this is using the launch character, which is really useful. So launch, you normally use it for sort of jump pads, that sort of stuff, and we can just check this quite quickly by just giving it a bit of a vertical lift off. So we'll put 500 onto the launch velocity of the Z value, which will just ping up our player into the air. Not quite what we want, but it should show that the technique actually works. So you can see there, we hit the spike and it bounces us over the top. Now that's maybe just useful if you think about making a sort of jump pad of some kind. It just gives you a value of 500 and shoots you up into the sky. It's kind of useful. But what we want to do is make our player actually leap backwards from the object that has inflicted this damage to them. So we need to figure out first of all what the object is that's caused the damage, and then we've got to work out the opposite direction from where the player is facing to send them backwards. So first of all, we want to get our actor's rotation. So our player character is going to be facing in one direction, and we're going to send them back the other way. So if we use the get actor rotation function here, we'll get the actor rotation of ourself. We're then going to get a forward vector. So that just gives us a vector that tells us which direction we're facing, essentially. We're then going to multiply that vector a vector times float. We're going to multiply that by about minus 1000. So what that'll do is it'll take the three values of that forward vector, times them by 1000, and then reverse them. So it's given us the opposite, essentially the backwards vector, but multiplied by 1000. So it's 1000 in the other direction, which is fine. The only problem with that you'll have is that it will also multiply our z-axis value by minus 1000, which would try and launch us into the floor essentially, so that would be no good. So what we need to do, once it saves our packages here, what we need to do is just ignore whatever it gives us on that z value. So if we break the vector first of all, and then make ourselves a new vector, this time using the x and y, but changing the z value here to be the 500 that we know works, pinging us up into the air. So we just link this together like so. So we launch our character by reversing our forward vector, multiplying it by 1000, minus 1000 in this case, and then using the x and y, but giving it our own z value there. So we compile that and check it works. With any luck, when we walk into our spike, it will leap us back out of the way, as you can see there. And that's it. So of course you could add a sound effect. You know, when you walk into that spike, you can do all sorts of other things as well. Use post-processing to flash the screen red and all sorts of things. but you've got quite a nice sort of mechanic there where it bumps you out of the way, knocks the health off. So I hope you found that useful. I'm going to do a quick version of this clip like I usually do, except this time I'm going to just alter the health pickup system slightly. There is a way that you can, rather than having a specialist a custom event here, you could actually essentially use the damage system, and rather than giving it a positive value on damage, you could actually give it a negative value, which would in effect then increase your health. So we'll use that as a quick shortcut rather than making a pickup health event specifically. So have a look at the quick version of this to find out how to do that.